Elizabeth Street, Little Italy. Hangs with his pals, yeah, that's where he'll be. It's Vinny, a friend of mine. Stand-up guy from the Lower East Side. Take it from me, he's one of a kind. It's Vinny Valentine.
Who's better than you? Welcome to Tell It Like It Is. Well, tonight, we don't have Mariana with us. She's working tonight. But I have someone that's taking her place tonight. My Valeria. What a baby. I call her up a lot. She thinks I like her. She's wonderful. And we've been friends for a long time. You know, but I always start off with a topic, you know. And you know what's bothering me? You know, I remember the 60s, Times Square, when it was all these peep shows and X-rated movies and pimps on the corner, prostitution. Ooh. And they kind of like cleaned it up. You know, this is what it was all about. It was a filthy place to hang out. Pickpocketers, robbers, who's selling cocaine and pot and all this other stuff. So it's been cleaned up quite a bit. Now, you know what seems to bother me? It seems like for some reason I feel like it's coming back a little bit because you have, you know, like you have tourists that come in, and if tourists come in with their kids and their Toys R Us, with a little girl has to see a guy playing a guitar with his underwear in Times Square.
Yeah, and also the naked women.
And well, I'm going to get to that too.
Okay.
And if they have a little boy, I don't think it's right for them to see a topless woman. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being topless and all this other, but not in Times Square where there's kids. You want to go topless? Work in these go-go bars. You can even do more in there, you know, but not in Times Square, you know. And they're allowing it for now. But how about if there was a big, huge, fat, ugly girl with all hanging out all over and she had one tooth missing in the front?
Yeah,
People
somebody
would look,
will like it probably.
What?
Somebody will like it probably.
Well, it wouldn't be me, I'll tell you that much. But I know people would go, ugh. And if they did, would they allow her to stay there? Or just the pretty girl? You know, I don't think that's the right place. It's inappropriate for them to be there. That's my personal opinion. You know, you want to play with your, you want to play with your underwear. I know it almost sounded wrong. You know, this is the God's honest truth. I do these parties every once in a while, and I did a party in the village several years ago, and it was all like all these Italians happened to show up, and they had all these chains around their necks, and they brought their girlfriends or their wives, and this guy walked in with the underwear on, you know, what do they call him, the cowboy?
The naked cowboy.
The naked cowboy. And I'll tell you something, there was a lot of friction in there that night. You know, these guys didn't appreciate their women staring at this guy, and they were like staring at me, thinking like I invited them down there. So you know, and I know how these guys are. They're like an old car. Once they warm up, then they go, and then there would have been a brawl in there. So I went over to the guy and I said, listen, you know, if you want to play a guitar with your underwear on, I don't think this is the place for you to do it. He goes, oh, well, it's a public, you know, it's a public restaurant. I said, yeah, but you're in here in your underwear. You know, there's some restaurants that don't allow T-shirts, some restaurants that don't allow shorts. You don't have any of that on. You got a pair of underwear, and these people are getting a little freaked out over here. So I think maybe you should leave. He says, well, and if I decided not to, I said, well, then you got two choices. Either you leave or I call an ambulance. He said, what's the ambulance for? That's going to mean if you don't leave, then we're going to need an ambulance for you. So, you know, you better leave. So he left. And then he see me, a year later in Times Square. I happened to be walking by him. Oh, he knew right away who I was. But I didn't say nothing, so I just kept walking. I didn't want to start no shit with him. But anyway, that's what I think about these people in Times Square doing that. It's inappropriate for these little kids to see that, you know? You poison their minds, you know? I know that if I was about 8 or 9, 10 years old, and I seen a girl topless, I don't know, my mind would go a little crazy, I think. I don't know. I become a sex maniac. No, I'm not joking. No, I would. But anyway, tonight we have a hell of a guest. Now, I went to go see her perform in a place in the village, and she was wonderful. And I kept in contact with her since that particular day that I went down there. And she also has a television show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Even in this same building.
And the same building, too.
Yes.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Wow, she surprised me, this girl.
Yeah.
And Valeria, Valeria. I got to say one thing before we introduce my guest. Now, Valeria is also an actress. She was a German model.
I am a German model, and I was Miss Germany.
And you what? And she was Miss Germany. Yes. I want to become Mr. Germany. I love
You
this.
are my Mr. Germany.
I love her to death. I swear to God, I love her to death. So that's who Valeria is, and she's always working. She stays very busy. What a good girl. I call her up all the time. Sometimes she doesn't answer because she doesn't want to get me too crazy.
No,
but
I
that's
always
okay.
call back.
Yeah, she does. Anyway, I'd like to introduce our guest for tonight because she's so wonderful. And I met her that night, and I had such a ball at the place. Her name is Bonnie.
Bruderer.
There you go. Hey, give her a nice hand. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's an honor to be here. I'm so glad I wear a dress. I was going to come naked with my guitar, but I last minute threw on a dress.
Wait. If you still want to do it, you can.
No, I don't want to offend anyone. So
Yeah, I guess
keep it
everybody
on.
would love
Naked
to see
and a
you
guitar, you
naked
said?
or in
Well, I
underwear.
was gonna do a number, just in my bikini and a guitar. But now I know you don't like
we
that.
could
so
always arrange another show for you to come on.
No.
All right,
I don't
all
want
right.
it. Keep it.
I'll
real.
leave that alone. I'll leave that alone.
So thank you
Tell
for
me a
having
little bit
me.
about your show now.
Yeah, so I've spent most of my winter filming here. I have a show called the AskBonBon Show, and it's on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on the Lifestyle Channel here at MNN. And it's inspiration-based, so we interview different thought leaders, different authors, speakers, people that are making the world a better place. And so we have authentic conversations about their mission and purpose and what they're doing in the world.
Right, that's pretty good. Now, what do you do? Your shows once a week?
We do, well, let's see. They air once a week. We air on multiple channels. So this is one of the channels that we air. We've had 140 guests at this point. So
140, yes.
Yes, yeah, lots of interviews, lots of people, interesting people
You
doing
have
great
guests up
things.
there, 140?
We've filmed other places as well. So we also film in
I see.
Chelsea. We film here. We did about 85 interviews here.
I see.
Yeah. So we would.
Do you ever go out on location with your
We do.
with your shows?
We go on location.
I gotta
we
bring
do
Valeria
all
on my
kinds of
location
things.
with me.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, as you know, to have your own show. I feel like a lot of people probably wish they had a show, and then you actually do it, and you realize it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too, and it's making a big impact. And we're
Do
getting.
people recognize you sometimes out on the street? And
They do. They do. My neighbor, for example, I was emptying the trash the other day, and she stopped me and said she saw me on MNN. That's my
oh,
first.
that was pretty
My
nice.
That's
first
awesome.
spotting. Yeah.
You get emails and all that stuff from
I
your show?
do. Yeah, we do. We do a lot of social media. So we have a very heavy online presence as well. My background is in motivational speaking and working for different authors and speakers, and one of which I worked for 5 years was one of the top internet marketers. And so in being his right arm, I learned a lot about social media had just come on the scene. I mean, Facebook was just brand new, and Twitter, and so I really learned at a very deep level how to utilize social media and how to spread your message with that. So each of the shows that we do, we put it through a very deep social media campaign as well, and we have all kinds of responses from that.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have just responses from local?
No,
Worldwide, right?
we have worldwide, we have global, we have people that have seen the show. We ended up in an Indian newspaper. I don't even know how, but somebody
Indian
saw the show.
newspaper.
Yeah, and they did
Okay.
a story on it the next morning because I have Google alerts, and so you get notified anytime there's anything on the web with your show. And I think it was called APN, and we ended up on the front page of an Indian newspaper. We've been in USA Today for the show, from behind the scenes filming here. So it's been a lot of fun.
If I'm not mistaken, you're doing a movie now with
I
a couple of
am.
names that you mentioned to me earlier.
I am. A name that we have in common, I learned. Sal Franciosa plays my ex-husband.
That's what?
And
He
he
plays
plays
your-
my ex-husband.
Your ex-husband.
Yes, we have a very
Okay.
contentious divorce. And so I'm in a movie called Fight Valley. It's being produced by Rob Hawk, and it's essentially, if you follow UFC at all, it is many of the top female UFC fighters are actually starring in the movie. And it's a little bit Fight Club, a little bit Rocky, but it has a really great love story, really good, like avenging a death
Is there
story.
like little love scenes in the movie too?
Absolutely not.
There is?
Not with me and Sal.
No, I didn't mean
There
like bad
are-
love scenes, like
yeah.
little kissing or anything like that.
No, with the
I
other
want to do
fighters.
one with Valeria.
Yes, there are. There's a lot of love scenes.
Don't
There's
mind
some I don't want to reveal too much, but there's some,
You mentioned earlier a guy named JT. Does he have something to do with this too?
he does. Interestingly enough, the way that I was cast in this film, I'm a bit of an accidental actress. Talk show is my passion.
How did you get this gig anyway?
I will
Through
tell
him?
you. Yes, in a roundabout sort of way. So the night that I had you at the party in the village, JT, as you know, we did the red carpet welcome. We had all the photos, and JT had posted some photos of that event on his Facebook. And Sal, who is also the executive producer in that movie, had seen the photos and contacted JT in a roundabout way. That's how that happened.
That's awesome.
One other
Yeah.
question, and I know it's none of my business, but are you getting paid at least something for this?
I am getting paid for it.
Good
yes.
girl, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I know it's amazing in this industry how much work you can get if you work for free. But it's a good film. It's funded. They have investors, so it's been a fun project.
So it's still shooting, or
It is still shooting. Yes. My hair is normally blonde. When I met you, I was a blonde, but.
Now, is this dye or is this a?
It's real dye. I had to
You
do
had
the
to
real
dye it?
deal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
So
hard.
are you a
That's
natural
commitment.
blonde and a brown? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, that's like asking me how
Whatever,
much I
whatever.
weigh.
Anyway,
When you,
look good,
come on.
whatever.
I don't know. I was a towhead little kid, curly blonde hair,
I mean,
but
see, I got all dark hair and I dyed it silver. Does it look natural?
it looks great. It looks
See?
great.
It look natural?
Did
Yeah.
a good job on you.
You're beautiful. I love her to death.
I know she's darling.
She kills me, this girl. She kills me. If I ever do a movie with her, there'll be no ending. Come on, no.
There is a sequel to Fight Valley, so interestingly, you should say that. So there is also a Fight Valley 2, where there's talk that Sal and I could potentially get back together. So coming soon. Spoiler alert.
Oh, that's unbelievable. Now, I know that Valeria also does a lot of modeling. Have you, since I've last seen you, have you done any independent films?
No, I've done so much modeling. I didn't have the time.
You haven't had
to
the time?
do acting.
Because I know that I have something coming up that she's going to be good for. Oh boy, I can't wait. Don't worry about it. It's kosher.
exciting.
It's kosher. You
Even
know.
better.
Huh?
Even better
What? What's even better? What?
that it's kosher.
Oh yeah. Well, as far as they're concerned, it's kosher. Yeah, it's kosher. Yeah, that's pretty good because every time I call you, she does answer. She doesn't answer the phone all the time. She'll text message me. I'm on a set. I'll call you later.
I do that too. I do that with you too. Because it's hard when when you're filming,
Oh, I
it's
know,
full
I know.
on, and people think you just sit around and you're waiting for craft services. And
I told
you're
100 people
playing
last
ping
night,
pong.
do not call me. I'm going to be busy. I went to a fundraiser out in Riverhead, and there was a bunch of people out there. And did I mention that before here?
Not on the
I
TV,
had somebody
just
tap
behind
me on the
scenes.
shoulder and say to me, hey, weren't you the guy in Casino? And I turned around, and it was Darryl Strawberry, you know?
Yeah.
And when I turned around, it was like, I don't know, like, the guy's like 6'5" or something, you know? I felt like a midget. Excuse me. And
Nice guy.
but I had a nice time, and I quit drinking
That's
about
awesome.
5 or 6 months. What?
That's awesome.
I'm gonna
Congratulations.
drink what I want you to. No, yeah. I'm sorry. I pick on her all the
I
time.
know.
And but last night I had 2.5 drinks, and that really like whacked me out. And they sent me a super stretch limousine, not like a limousine, but a super stretch limousine. I couldn't even see the driver, and he's talking to me from up front. and I don't hear very well. That's why I always have to have my co-host to the right, and he's talking, and I'm saying, oh, yeah, that's good. All right, yeah, later, wait, whatever. I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. All of a sudden, I went out like a light in the car, and all I remember was somebody was trying to wake me up, and I was saying, leave me alone, wake me up at 9:30. It was like 12:30 at night, and all I heard him was laughing, and I woke up. And he says, well, you're a funny guy. He said, you were telling me to wake you up at 9:30. I went out like a light, man. It was, but anyway, I'm back home. I got home safe.
Thank goodness. And here we are.
And then here we are, yeah. And then talking about people recognizing you, I mentioned to you in the other room. I don't want to say dressing room, because then people will think, what are we doing in a dressing room?
I don't know. That's
We were
pretty
just
standard
talking.
before a show.
I'm on the bus, and it was a loaded bus, and this moron from the front of the bus yells out, hey, aren't you an actor? I said, oh, no. And I went like that to him, Hey, you think maybe I'd take a picture of you? And he's standing up, and the bus is moving, and he's doing this. I said, you know what? I only took the bus about 4 stops, and I got out, and I took a cab. I couldn't deal with him. Yeah, I don't mind, but you don't yell that out in the bus, But anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, what else is over there? I got to tell you something. The reason why I'm all over her right now is because I haven't seen you in, 2 months?
Yeah, probably.
2 months, see that? See? Imagine if it was 6 months.
Oh my God.
No.
I don't want to imagine.
I know, yeah, we'll both be in trouble, all right. Well, you would be in trouble anyway. So tell me more.
What do you want to know?
About your show. What kind of hosts have you had on your show?
So, well, I am the host. What kind of guest? Yeah. So my background, just to give you kind of a little frame of reference on how all this happened, I have an interesting background in that for 20 years I worked for some of the world's top motivational speakers. So I got my start working for Tony Robbins, who talk about giant. Most people know of, probably the world's most famous. And I was trained by him as a coach, and I toured around the world and coached thousands of people in 7 different countries around the world. And then I left there and I went to run another organization that taught hypnotherapy and presentation and platform skills and neurolinguistic programming. So I was the director of production there for 2.5 years, and mostly in North America, some in the UK and some in Australia. And then I built my own brand, so I've authored 3 books, and I have an online university and a whole coaching program that I created myself. And so my dream was always to do television and to really bring light to some of these amazing people that I've met throughout the whole journey. So we've had everything from authors, we've had some athletes, we've had doctors, we had a cancer-sniffing dog. That was my favorite guest. We had this. Actually, upstairs we had Wyatt, who is this amazing Rhodesian Ridgeback that is trained to sniff out any type of disease, any type of cancer 2 years before any medical test can. And it's been physician verified. There's tons of data. There's actually 3 dogs in this family that do it. We've had guests we've had fashion designers, we've had philanthropists, we had Giles.
On your show?
On my show, yeah. We've had Giles Dooley, he's actually a friend of mine. He's a British war journalist, and he was on tour in Afghanistan with the U.S. Army, and he stepped on a landmine and became a triple amputee. And obviously that wasn't a very good experience, but he since has gone
You're a busy girl. You got a lot of people on your show.
Oh yeah, we've had tons. I'm just getting started.
I think you just passed me up.
Amazing story. He's gone on and he's created a whole global movement on raising money for what happens in war-torn countries after the media goes home, and has been award-winning, just incredible person. We've had Lisa Ruoff, she was a yoga teacher and went to Haiti after the earthquake and volunteered. And just decided that was her life's mission, and she started global volunteer trips where she takes people into communities that have been struck by disaster. And I think it's 3 or 4 years later, she's built a 200-bed facility for orphans. I went with her on one of the trips. We built the first dental clinic in Jacmel, Haiti. She has raised tens of thousands of dollars, for these individual communities, and she's worked with Richard Branson, the Queen of Jordan, amazing woman.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have a steady job during the daytime, no.
I do. Well, I mean, the show is quickly becoming my job. It started as a passion project to bring awareness to these amazing philanthropic people, and it's becoming my full-time deal. So
it was a full-time, now became part-time.
It's becoming full-time. I'm a coach, an executive and life coach by trade. That's what I was doing prior to the show. And so I still have a private practice doing that, but I'm paring that back to work on the show full-time.
So you make your living doing movies and your television shows and all this other stuff. Wow, that's pretty good.
I do. I know. I can't believe it. I'm actually an actress that gets paid. It's the weirdest thing because
that's unbelievable.
because I didn't try. It was
happened.
accidental. It did. You know, again, like Oprah has always been my
What was your first break?
idol. My first break was I was giving a talk at one of JT's events, and
every time I hear that word
hold
JT, for some reason I get the hiccups.
I know, you gotta love him. And I was approached by a writer and a producer that had written a sitcom, and I was giving a motivational talk. It wasn't industry related, and they approached me and they said, "Oh my God, we wrote this script. You are Sarah Smith. Like the second I saw you, you have to audition." I was like, "Oh, I'm not an actress." Anyway, for 6 months they kept after me and kept sending scripts and said, "Please come audition for this role." And I did, and I'd never been to an audition before, and I
Are you a union girl?
I'm SAG eligible. I chose not to just because of
As soon as your first big movie that you make a lot of money, then you'll join.
Yes.
I see.
So,
okay.
well, I don't know. I've been advised both ways because a lot of films and a lot of projects now are non-union. So, I don't know. I've been getting work. So anyway, so I got the role as Sarah Smith on The Smith Family, and then I also got a role in Don't Know Jack. I was cast as a cougar. I was a cougar that stands by the elevator in the hall and harasses young men. And that was really fun. I got to work on that project. That's on Hulu. So it's as
a union girl, you'll get more money if you're working on a set. You know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How about you, Valeria? You're not union yet, right?
Not yet.
She will be when I get her in a movie.
Something to look forward to.
Exactly.
So yeah, and then this role in Fight Valley. So that's been. Oh, and I had a small piece in Father Holiday.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So
Yeah.
that was your big break then.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
That's
My
great.
first movie, I just said 2 words. It was at the right place at the right time. I won't even go back and tell you how far it was, because then I don't want you to think. I don't want you to know my age. Only Valeria knows.
42.
How old do you think I am?
I have no idea.
Take a guess. You
I'm
could lie if you
terrible
want.
at these sort of things.
You could
Vinny.
lie
I'm
if you
terrible.
want. Go ahead.
I really don't know. Somewhere
Take a guess.
between.
You take a guess, Valeria.
No day older than 25.
Yeah.
I love her to death.
I know. I was going to
I
say
love her to
27,
death.
but
You hit it right on the nose, my baby. I said 2 words and they put me right in the union, and then it was 2 words where it was, oh shit. I was a sanitation worker, you know? But anyway.
what movie was that?
French Connection with Gene Hackman.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know, that was back in 1970.
I wasn't even born yet.
Nobody was born then.
Somebody was.
French
The
Connection.
producer.
Cotton comes to Harlem across 110th Street, 7-Ups. And then, I laid back for a while. Then I went into the motorhome business with the RVs, and I used to supply them to the fashion industry, and then to commercials and movie sets. And that's how I got to meet all these models that I've had on the show, and actors and actresses. And then the very first big movie that I got was the movie Casino.
Yes.
That put me over the hump. And actually, for the people out there, you want to know something? It's 20 years ago this month that we filmed this movie, back in 1995. Yeah, see that?
I remember watching that movie. So another interesting thing about me is that I was born in Brooklyn. I'm a California girl, but I was born in Brooklyn because my dad was in the Coast Guard. And growing up, he would always tell me bedtime stories about mob things.
About the who?
About the mob.
About the mob. I don't
So-
know about that.
no, of course.
I only played a mob.
But I was so obsessed with all the movies because that's how I grew up. I'm like, tell me another story, Dad, and he'd try to tell me about the Three Bears. I was like, no, tell me about in New York. I was always so obsessed with New York. And he would tell, so then when movies like Casino came out and The Sopranos, I loved them because I just felt
that
like
was a
I got to learn.
big gift to me, because I was laying down in bed. I was watching, I think the Maury Povich show or something like that. Oh, what the hell, Jerry Springer.
Oh, boy.
And all of a sudden I got a phone call, and they said, Vinny Vella. I said, yeah. They says, we'd like for you to come down and audition for this movie called Casino. I said, okay, fine. So I went down there, I auditioned, and then it all happened from there. Then they called me back, and I actually had a different part. But they liked me so much that when they called me back, they upgraded me. They said, actually, we're going to change your part. You know, we want to make you the underboss of Kansas City. And would you be able to, stay with us in Vegas for 5 weeks? I said, 5 weeks? I said, if you
In
want.
Vegas,
I said, I
yes.
can move in with you right now if you want. 5 weeks, no problem, And so I became the underboss of Kansas City, Artie Pisana. And that was great. That was like 5 weeks on that.
So were you an actor at that point? Like, that was just what you wanted to do, and then you were waiting for that break, or how did that happen?
Well, when I did it, I didn't realize how big how much it would do for me. I had no idea. If it just another movie, And when they called me, they told me it was in a low budget, $65 million. This movie. They told me it was a low budget. So,
Yeah.
what's a high budget, So, and then when I went to the movie theater, it's very funny because when I went to the movie theater, they showed it at the Ziegfeld Theater, and that's where the screening was. So I was somewhere like about 5 seats from the front, in the center, and I brought my mother and father. Now, my mother and father they weren't the type to go to movies or anything like that, and I know we only got just a little bit more time to go. And we're going to come back next week, and you're going to hear the rest of the story. All right.
Elizabeth Street, Little Italy. Hangs with his pals, yeah, that's where he'll be. It's Vinny, a friend of mine. Stand-up guy from the Lower East Side. Take it from me, he's one of a kind. It's Vinny, Vella time.
Who's better than you?